I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the News du Jour, a calmer space to consume the news. So I have my son recording with me today because this is a special episode and I was not planning to be making an episode today. That said, when I heard the news yesterday, I knew I was going to get flooded with questions from you guys, and I didn't want to make you wait until Monday to have a solid recap of this super important topic. So I'm just going to go over really briefly what I know as of right now from what I have gathered online, and I'm sure there will be more details coming out very quickly over the next few days, so I will continue to update you guys and refresh this episode as time goes on. But, you know, on January 6th and in the wake of the presidential election in general, I did a bunch of special episodes. So when there's these big news events going on, I know it's super important to update you guys in the moment. So that's what we're going to do today. So former President Trump has been indicted on 34 different charges. And while it's easy to say, oh, Alvin Bragg's the DA, he's a Democrat, it's just a Democrat coming for him. There was a jury, you guys, that made this decision. They are the ones who chose to indict him on 34 different counts. What does that mean exactly? It means they think there is enough evidence to charge Trump with 34 different crimes. Now, what crimes are these exactly? Well, we do know that it kind of encircles the whole Stormy Daniels hush money debacle. We assume that because of the list of witnesses that they've called, but it still doesn't really account for 34 different charges. So it's going to be fascinating to see what charges Trump is actually facing. It's typical for those charges to be revealed when someone appears in court for the first hearing. Now, this situation is anything but normal. We don't have an exact date for that, but as of the time I'm writing this, we have heard that Trump plans to surrender himself early next week, most likely on Tuesday. Standard procedure for this type of thing is to book someone at that point, fingerprints, mugshot, the works. So it would obviously be the first time that a former president will have a mugshot taken. Nixon would have had one, but he was actually pardoned by President Ford. According to Politico, there was a plan to have Trump arrested today that was proposed, but the plan just didn't work out because the Secret Service shot it down. They said, we need more time to prepare for this. Remember, this is completely unprecedented, so they're having to make up plans from scratch here. Instead, Trump will surrender in tandem with the DA's office. They're really working together to make sure that that goes smoothly and that there's no sort of hiccups in the whole thing. So one of your questions may be, what is the Republican reaction? What is the Democrat reaction? What are people saying on Capitol Hill? Well, let's start with the Republican reaction. So could this actually work in Trump's favor? It almost makes him a martyr of sorts, and with all kinds of Republicans now running to his aid to defend him, people are already joking that they plan to put his mugshot on t-shirts and kind of embrace Trump's perceived persecution as a badge of honor. But yeah, so the Trump legal team's reaction is really, this is political persecution. He hasn't committed any crimes, on and on. Tons of Republican figures, some of the leadership have taken to Twitter to defend him. So that's kind of where we're at. I think his fans seem to think it's like a joke, and they're poking fun at it and not taking it seriously. Like I said, putting his mugshot on t-shirts potentially. So that's kind of the mood over in the Republican camp. Whereas the Democratic camp obviously sees this as finally receiving justice and that it proves that no one is above the law. So that's kind of where things stand for right now. If you guys have specific questions that I haven't answered in this recap, definitely hit me up. Everything I hear, I'm taking note of so that I can continue to update you guys into the coming weeks. So it's definitely not going to be something that, unravels overnight. This is going to be a longer story, but I just wanted to give you guys the details as we know them as of, let's see, 11/11 on Friday, March 31st. Stay tuned. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use to listen. A rate and review or shout out on social media would mean the world to us and help us be able to keep creating the news du jour. But the best way to support all of our work is to become a patron at www.patreon.com/sugarfreemedia. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram and just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
Broadcasting from Oklahoma.